Hello, hi. I'm going to talk with you just to let you know that this is possible. And yes, this, what I'm talking about, is still not happening. And yet it is possible. I do it. You hear it. We can talk like this. And yet we don't. We can only talk like this if you no longer believe in inner language. Yeah. There is no inner language. I don't believe in it. I don't have it. I'm having this language that you hear. This language that I produce with my mouth, with my vocal cords. This overt language. That's what I'm having. That's what you're hearing. I don't have any inner language. I don't have any ideas that I want to share with you. I don't have a theory about language that I want to put out there and as an alternative. No. You know, do you see where I'm sitting? Do you see these these shrubs and these trees and stuff? Anything that is natural is just there because it can be there. Hi. And if for whatever reason, let's say I don't know, let's say I have I don't know, let's say I have cancer or something. Let's say, yeah. I mean, let's say I'm dying of cancer. Well, then I'll be dead, and I can't say this anymore. It's terrible, but that's how it is. Yeah. And if I, for whatever reason, I don't know, people sometimes lose their voice, right? They lose their voice. Maybe they have a cold, or maybe they have brain damage, and they cannot talk anymore. Yeah, that can happen. Then they cannot say this anymore. And maybe sometimes something happens. Maybe sometimes, yeah, tragedy happens. And yeah, maybe you just don't feel like saying anything. Maybe you're just sad. You're just despondent. You're affected. You're grieving the loss of somebody who's no longer there. Well, then maybe you wouldn't be talking. Or maybe you would. Of course you could. But it would be great, actually, if you would be able to talk about your tragedy, if you would be able to express your misery, your sadness, your struggle. Yeah. That would be an instance in which you use your embodied language to express everything that is happening with disembodied language. So yeah, disembodied language involves all your problems, everything that's wrong. So you can talk about everything that's wrong with your embodied language. That would be a very different thing to do. And then as you bring attention to those, yeah, overwhelming experiences, or to those, yeah, you could say, frustrating or hurtful experiences, these experiences will dissolve. These experiences will be absorbed by your language. And then you will be sitting here just like me, talking out loud, hearing yourself. Everybody can do it. If you can talk with others, you can talk with yourself. It's just that simple. But you've never done it. And if you've done it, you've never done it consistently, which means that you begin to realize that talking with yourself is more important than talking with others. Because talking with yourself is, why is talking with yourself so pleasant? Well, because it is self-reinforcing. But the moment talking with others becomes more important than talking with yourself, that self-reinforcing effect is lost, because the other becomes more important than you. So talking with yourself truly is more important than talking with others. And oddly enough, if you would persist, if you would really take it to the max, so to speak, and then maybe finally you will talk with me in 2026, but if you take it to the max, if you really would take talking with yourself so serious that you would continue with it, you would be able to acknowledge for yourself, not because I say so, but for yourself, that of course finding it true that talking with yourself is more important than talking with others is based on your own experience, that you can say things to yourself in a way that you never can say to others. You come to that point where you begin to recognize that you say like, I love to talk like this. I find it so revealing, and I can say this to myself, and I hear myself, and I'm glad I'm doing this. I'm happy to be doing this. But I cannot talk like this with others. And you continue to talk with yourself. You continue to allow yourself to actually express what you are capable of expressing, what you want to express. And also you are also able to recognize what you don't want to express and what you therefore completely leave. You're not talking about things anymore that you don't want to talk about. And so you continue, and you realize that as you keep talking with yourself, you cannot miss it. That you talk like this with yourself. Of course you can talk like this with others, but only if they do what you do. That is when we have embodied language together. And that is when we mutually reinforce each other for our embodied language. And then, our embodied language will continue, because, this is how mutual or social reinforcement sets the stage for the continuation of our embodied language. Because embodied language based on our self-reinforcement, it only continues to the extent that we ourselves reinforce it. And that self-reinforcement cannot win from the social reinforcement. If the social reinforcement is lacking, that self-reinforcement is not going to allow us to continue with our embodied language. We need the social reinforcement. We need to be able to have this together in order to be able to have our own journey with our embodied language, even on our own. Yeah, I'm talking here by myself alone. Yeah, and I can continue with it because I've spent many years of sharing this with other people, and yeah, my embodied language has been reinforced sufficiently enough for me to continue with it. And you will come to that point where that is the case for you as well, if you persist with your own journey. Yeah. So yeah, it is quite a challenge to first acknowledge it for yourself, and then to go to others who should also have done what you have done, and then to share this with others who have also on their own noticed the difference between listening to themselves and not listening to themselves, who also on their own have said, wow, I can say so much more to myself than to others. Yeah. And as you continue with that for as much as you can, and then after you have done that, you go to others who have also hopefully done that, what you have done. And yeah, of course, this is all based on the fact that we're speaking the same language, right? Because this is how we get to speak the same language, the same embodied language. If I say what matters to me, and if you say what matters to you, we can talk like that with each other. And that is when we mutually reinforce each other. And without that social reinforcement, yeah, this wonderful conversation, it remains a possibility which is never achieved. But it will only be achieved to the extent that we have done what it takes to make it possible. And like I've just said about this, yeah, the natural, yeah, the grass, the shrubs, the trees. In nature, things exist because they can exist. And if there's no longer any nourishment or any thing that sustains it, it will disappear, it will die, it will go away, it will evaporate, or it will, yeah. And so it is like that with our embodied language as well. And who knows, maybe embodied language, you know, I urge everybody in this video to use 2025 as the year in which you explore your own self-reinforcement. And then in 2026, that is when I hope to have that conversation with you that I was just talking about. And then we won't be talking with each other, because we will actually be talking with ourselves, and we will be talking with each other in the same way as we talk with ourselves. That is embodied language. Yeah. I look forward to that. But now you must really take this serious, and if you don't, yeah, then then you just miss out on this. Yeah. As you have done so far. Yeah. Okay.